Welcome to the kitchen of the Kerosene Lab. What I'm going to do today is make pulled pork the old-fashioned way using some various old-fashioned kitchen items here in the lab's kitchen. We have to start with, of course, a pork butt. This is about 8 pounds. Then we have a number 9 Griswold cast iron pan. We have the spices. You got from right to left, you got sweet onion, whole oregano, whole black peppercorns, garlic powder, Dinosaur's regular sensational or sensuous slathering sauce, and the tongs for picking the thing out of the pot. And there's our pot. That is a 9-element Lindy. It's made by the Amish. It has multiple layers on the bottom so that you will not burn anything. And finally, you've got a 2-burner Perfection kerosene stove or range. In this case, it's a 1957 K12, and we're going to, once I get it browned, I'm going to cook the pork butt in the Lindy pan for 5 hours on the kerosene stove on a low blue flame. Now you might question why I'm not going to brown it in that and why I'm browning it here. Well, because the Lindy has that 9-layer bottom, it resists burning. So it's easier to just throw the thing in a giant Griswold pan and brown it. This is the Lindy pan. You can see it's surgical stainless, 9-element. And one of the reasons why I like it so much is it's very wide for its height. Better contact with the heat, easier to turn things over than one of the modern tall narrow pots. Okay, here's our pork butt out of the wrapper. You can see we have a very heavy fat cap. We're going to cut a lot of that away, but we still have to keep some for flavor. Okay, the fat cap has been cut away. We left a little bit for flavor. That will now be transferred into the cast iron pan after it's good and hot, and we will brown all sides, and then it goes into the pot along with some spices that we showed earlier, and we leave it for about 5 hours. Now the special thing about this Lindy top is it's a waterless cooker, so what will happen is you will get a water seal around here, and you can literally spin the top when it's got the water seal. Okay, here we're starting the process of putting a good crust on all 4 sides. Notice here how easy it is to move this big chunk of meat around using the forks. Sometimes you are going to have to hold it while you're getting the ends because they're not flat enough to allow it to stand upright without tipping over. Okay, this is the last side. And as you can see, we're getting some good browning on the outside all the way around it, which is what you want to develop your flavor. The long, slow cook on the kerosene stove will tenderize it and do all the work. Okay, with your butt browned and in the Lindy pot, you're going to cut up an onion. I'm using a sweet onion. It doesn't have to be chopped fine. It's a sacrificial onion. It's going to give up its flavor. And then it's removed at the end, and fresh onion put in. So then we're just going to dump a little oregano, however you want to call it. Some garlic powder. And the secret is whole black peppercorns. You do not crush them. What that will do is it will give up its essential oils into the meat, but not the pepper flavor. Now the next is just something that we do here at the lab. We use Kerosene California Marsala wine to get it going. You can use water if you want. We kind of like this Kerosene, not for drinking, but for cooking. Okay, the next step is to light the kerosene stove. Get one burner going. Turn that around so you can actually see it burning. Okay, what we have here is if the camera will focus. There we go. We have a low blue flame. That would be a high blue flame. That would be high yellow. But we want to go low and slow, so we're going to go down to a low blue, and we're going to take the pot and put it on the stove. Okay, we've got everything in the pot. Top is on. Set the pot on the kerosene stove. And basically all you have to do now is wait about 5 hours. I will come back hourly and check it. But it's basically popeil. It's set it and forget it. Okay, it has been 1 hour. And it looks like, oh, you can see it. There's a little bit of water bubbling right there, and there's we've got a partial water seal. So it is now boiling. We do have a little bit of smell, so we can tell it's cooking. I will not remove the top because I don't want to lose the steam and the moisture. But you can see that it is boiling in there, which is good. Check back in another hour. Well, I don't know whether you can hear that, but it's bubbling away inside at hour 2. Okay, it is hour 3, and She Who Must Be Obeyed has suggested that we pull the top and take a quick look. Break the water seal. It's a bubbling away, and it's fogging up the camera. Alrighty, plenty of liquid. I think we're doing okay. Alrighty, it's hour 4, And we're going to take another quick look just to see what's going on. Yeah, it is cooking. And then it fogs me up again. Alrighty, one more hour to go and hopefully it'll be done. Okay, it has been a long 5 hours. So let's check this and see what we got here. Oh yeah. Goes right through. Ah, there's the bone. Yeah, it is just disintegrating. So I think we got it. So, I'm going to take it off the heat. I'm going to let it cool down. Okay, let's see if we can get this out of here. Sometimes you cook it so much that you can't get it out. There you go. Alrighty, there's what's left inside. You've got the emaciated onions. Looks like a little bit of meat and a lot of broth. And what we'll do is we'll strain everything out and just save the broth. And that will go back in the pot. And that piece of meat there, as soon as it cools down, it'll be shredded, put back in the pot, along with a fresh onion and 1 or 2 bottles of the dinosaur. Haven't decided yet. I like it a little dry, and then you can always add it when you go to eat it. But if it's too saucy, you can't do anything about it. Okay, now I'm going to take my vintage colander. I like the old stuff. They just work better. I'm going to pour all the goodness into the container below. Strain out all the peppercorns and the used up onions. Now what have we got here? Is it stuck on? No, not really. Comes right off of my finger. You know, that's pretty good stuff. Anyway, while I eat, it cooked all afternoon and did not burn. That's the sign of a really good, high quality, multi-layer pot. Okay, so I took a paper towel, I wiped out the bottom, got it pretty good. Now I'm going to take all this great flavor, pour that back in, and then what will happen is, as soon as the meat cools down so I can handle it, I'm going to shred it. It goes back in the pot with a fresh onion and at least 1 bottle of dinosaur barbecue sauce. There's sensuous slathering sauce. For those that aren't familiar with dinosaur, it's made in Syracuse, New York. Very famous barbecue place. Okay, after running for 5 hours on low blue, I've got the cleaner on the burner, and you can see the carbon that built up. So I'm going to scrape that down, reshape the wick, and it'll be good to go. And over here, you can see that we've used, well, it was full when I started, and it took a quarter of that to fill the burners. And so we used about a quart of kerosene for 5 hours cooking on low blue. And at $3.35 a gallon, your cost is under $1. So that's not bad. So anyway, I'll finish doing this, then we'll put everything back together on the burner, the chimney, flame spreader, and we'll pull the pork butt apart and dump it back in the pot and with some dinosaur and stew it for an hour. Oh yeah, we got to put the onion in too. And there is a perfectly shaped wick with the chisel profile by using the Perfection wick cleaner. Okay, pork butt has cooled down, and we'll have a go at pulling it apart. And I mean, this is the way I do it with two forks. You want to get it nice and shredded. I'm not going to do the whole thing here for you. I'm just showing you how I do it. When this is all shredded, it will go back in the pot with another onion. I want you to notice when pork is cooked low and slow for hours, the old-fashioned way, just how easy it pulls apart. There's very little that I'm going to put in the trash there. A little bit of the grizzle or the fat that simply didn't render. But you can see how it just falls apart. That's a sign that it was cooked correctly. And you can't do it fast. Low and slow. That's what 5 hours of slow cooking does. A little bit of stuff there. Alright, so we'll take the last bit here. Okay, so we have this little bit left and that bone. And what we have is all that. Okay, got the heat back on, got the pork in there, got it mixed up a little bit. Now I'm going to add that big onion. That one really didn't get cut up. Let's try that again. Didn't claim to be a chef. It's just got to be rough cut. I was trying to do too many rings at once. Okay, so we got that. Now we've got my preferred sauce is dinosaur. Okay, so there's that. So now it's a matter of just mixing it up and seeing if that's enough. And if it isn't, add a second one. Because like I said earlier, I want it kind of dry. I don't want it real saucy. You can do that later. But it's got to be enough to so that it won't come out dry. I'm almost thinking, with the amount of meat that's in there, probably ought to do another at least a partial. Okay, mix that up. I think that's looking about right. Just a little bit saucy. I'll show you what I mean by that. Right there. So, what I'll do, reach across in front of the camera, put the top on, let it set on low blue for about an hour. And then we'll, the onions should be cooked, the sauce should have flavored the meat, and be time to eat. Okay, it's been an hour. At a half an hour, I went ahead and gave it a quick stir. And there's what we've got. Doesn't that look good? That is making pulled pork the old-fashioned way. I hope you enjoyed the video.